So, I've been a doctor for over 26 years, and I try to blend the best of lifestyle medicine and medical management using an evidence-based approach. As you know, fibromyalgia is complex and for too long has been ignored as a real problem, deserving of honest answers and practical solutions for real people struggling with pain, exhaustive fatigue, and debilitating brain fog. While you don't have fibromyalgia and rarely get a headache, usually it's triggered by an irregular sleep schedule. I'm passionate about those struggling with this often invisible and frustrating condition. I don't have any particular vitamins or herbal concoctions to sell you or to treat your fibromyalgia-related problems. If you are like many with fibromyalgia, you may wonder, why don't I sleep well? Why am I exhausted after sleeping for 7 to 9 hours? I asked those on the What Works in Fibromyalgia Facebook to share some questions about sleep and fibromyalgia, and here's some of those. Just how do we get a night of restful, restorative sleep? Can sleep also be affected by uncomfortable skin issues? Why do I get sore from sleeping? Why is sleeping so painful? I'll get some awful pain to subside. I drift off into bliss eventually, but then I wake up from sleep. I'm wincing from horrible pain before my eyes are even open. How am I in more pain than when I went to sleep? And share some of the medical reasons why fibromyalgia affects non-restorative sleep. And lastly, no matter my position, I'm uncomfortable, constantly feeling pain in one or multiple areas. My neck can never fully relax. My legs and feet can feel like I just ran a marathon overnight when I wake up in the morning. Is it just mind over matter? And as Melissa said, this is a talk for educational purposes only, and have all your signs and symptoms discussed with your individual doctor. There are multiple ways sleep and fibromyalgia are connected. Poor sleep is one of those causes. Studies have shown that a few nights of disrupted sleep or even one night of sleep deprivation will cause heightened pain sensitivity the next day. And I'll take a quick walk through some of the critical factors to help you understand the different sleep challenges that those with fibromyalgia have. I hope you will get some insights that go far beyond just a simple command to relax and sleep, which obviously you've tried and it's not working if you're struggling. Sleep problems precede fibromyalgia symptoms when you look at the chronology. Many with fibromyalgia have coexisting sleep disorders and medical issues that need to be identified and treated. And sleep hygiene is also essential, but often overlooked or inadequately implemented. So what is different about sleep in those with fibromyalgia? Unrefreshing sleep occurs in about 76 to 90% of those with fibromyalgia. When studies in sleep labs using EEG monitoring, they've shown abnormalities in sleep in those with fibro compared to those who are unaffected by fibromyalgia. These special EEG patterns, called alpha sleep patterns during the non-REM sleep, non-rapid eye movement, or non-dream sleep, have been observed with 3 distinct patterns of this alpha sleep activity. One is called phasic alpha, and this is kind of where we get a little bit nerdy here. I pardon you that, but there's this phasic alpha where these alpha waves simultaneous with the delta wave activity. In about 50% of patients, there's a tonic wave continuous throughout the non-REM sleep, and 20% of patients in low alpha activity in the remaining 30% of patients. The low alpha activity is also exhibited by about 84% of those who are control subjects who didn't have fibromyalgia. All fibromyalgia patients who displayed this phasic alpha sleep with the alpha and delta wave intermix reported worsening pain after sleep, compared with 58% of those with low alpha activity and 25% with tonic alpha. Post-sleep increase in the number of tender points occurred in 90% of patients with phasic alpha activity, 41% of those of patients with low alpha activity, and 25% of those with tonic alpha activity. All patients with this phasic alpha activity reported self-ratings of poor sleep, and about 58% with the low alpha activity and 12% with the tonic alpha activity. So patients with this phasic alpha activity reported a longer duration of pain than patients in other subgroups. Additionally, patients with this phasic alpha activity exhibited less total sleep time, lower sleep efficiency, and less slow wave sleep than patients with the tonic alpha sleep patterns. So to summarize, people with fibromyalgia are more likely to have a nervous system with this phasic alpha sleep consisting of this alpha sleep with the delta waves. It's like having a different operating system, making refreshing sleep less likely. This operating system leads to more daytime fatigue and more pain. The brain, the central nervous system, is plastic and can be modulated. Imagine a very intricately designed amplifier with many inputs and outputs that can turn the volume up and down on the sensitivity in the alarm system. And comparing that with fibromyalgia, can you take people who do not have fibromyalgia and induce fibromyalgia? Well, 2 studies did this. The first on college students in the 1970s, and a later study repeated in the 1990s in middle-aged women showed that fibromyalgia symptoms could be turned on and then off within a few nights. They had healthy volunteers, were monitored in a sleep lab for 6 nights, with intervention the first 3 nights and then none the second 3. When they were about to hit the deep, non-REM stage 4 sleep, a startling noise was played, awaking them briefly, and then these interruptions repeatedly kept them out of the non-REM sleep, deep sleep throughout the night. Why is that important? What is non-REM sleep and what is its purpose? It's a short-wave sleep characterized by low frequency and high amplitude delta wave patterns. It's where most of your restorative or restful sleep occurs. Brainwave activity and blood pressure are lowered, muscles relax, and your body can recover and repair. Non-REM sleep can help us physically heal, recover from illness, and deal with stress and solve problems. Non-REM sleep also plays a role in memory consolidation and can help boost the immune system. So in the short of it is, it's very essential, and a lot of those things overlap with what people with fibromyalgia struggle with. What symptoms developed in the subjects in these studies deprived of non-REM sleep? They observed aching or stiffness in the shoulders, lower limbs, neck, and upper back. All described overwhelming physical tiredness, heaviness, or sluggishness to the point of experiencing difficulty walking or standing up. Some related loss of appetite and transient nausea and diarrhea. During the recovery period, the regional symptoms tended to subside or disappear. The tiredness disappeared and they felt hungry again. All subjects exhibited bursts of an alpha-like rhythm intermingled with the delta frequency in response to noise stimuli during the stage 4 deprivation condition. These, as you know, were the same rhythms that we see in those with fibromyalgia. In the studies, authors felt that the alpha EEG sleep reflects a vigilant arousal state. How to buffer the effects of noise-disrupted sleep? Well, those who had been in the study had led sedentary lives going into this, but a pilot study with people who were physically fit and accustomed to running 2 to 7 miles daily did not have any of the pain symptoms despite the sleep deprivation. Changes in dolorimeter scores, where they put pressure and see how much pain you have, those also did not change in those pilot study patients who were exercising at a pretty high level. So Maimonides, he's a physician in Spain from the 12th century, observed the potential for musculoskeletal pain in sedentary persons. He said if one leads a sedentary life and does not exercise, neglects the call of nature, or is constipated, even if he eats a wholesome food and takes care of himself in accordance with the medical rules, he will throughout his life be subject to aches and pains, and his strength will fail him. One of the ways exercise has an impact is through modulation of the volume control of the central nervous system involved in pain amplification. Consistent regular exercise turns down pain sensitivity. And sleep and fibromyalgia related, but which comes first, pain or sleep problems? Studies have shown sleep problems precede pain. Longitudinal cohort studies with basic subjective measurements of sleep and pain generally support a reciprocal relationship between sleep disturbance or insomnia symptoms and clinical reports. Good sleep means less pain, and several of these longitudinal studies convincingly demonstrate that insomnia symptoms significantly increase the risk of developing future chronic pain disorders in previously pain-free individuals. Existing pain is not a strong predictor of new incidents of insomnia. I just had a patient yesterday who is a 17-year-old that I saw who, looking back, he had growing pains as a kid and the nighttime growing pains, but not until he got into middle school and had a injury that in a sense unleash or trigger his now fibromyalgia symptoms that saw him for the first time yesterday, but had 3 years of symptoms before, without getting proper treatment. You may say, well, I know sleep is essential. Give me help. And what are the causes of poor sleep? And I know that, of course, hey, I'd love to exercise, but I'm tired. And all of these are interconnected. It's not so simple. So medical problems, maladaptive behaviors, environmental factors, and stress play roles, among others. Restless leg syndrome occurs in about 50 to 65% of fibromyalgia patients. For those who have fibromyalgia, who have RLS, compared to those without RLS, fibromyalgia intensity is worse as measured by the Fibromyalgia Impact Score. So, do you have RLS? There are 4 essential criteria for diagnosing it. So there's an urge to move the legs accompanied by or caused by unpleasant sensations in the legs. Sometimes the urge is present with unpleasant sensations, and sometimes these sensations are present in the upper body. Urge to move the legs is present when resting or inactive. The urge to move the legs is partially or entirely relieved with movement. And the urge to move or unpleasant sensations are worse at night than during the day and only occur at night and tend to worsen the longer someone is lying down. So consider these questions. Do you have insomnia or sleep problems and a need to move? And do you have uncomfortable sensations in your legs and sometimes the upper body? If you answer yes to these, then consider the questions. Have you felt the urge to move your legs in the evening or at night in the last week? Do these symptoms worsen when you sit down, lie down, or rest? And are the symptoms in the evening or at night worse than during the day? And does moving, whether walking or stretching, partially or temporarily relieve these symptoms? Other supporting findings are if you have a first-degree relative with RLS. Most who have restless leg have normalized their neuroatypical behavior and may be unaware. They are more likely to be night owls. Improvement with restless leg medications also supports the diagnosis. If you're unsure that you have RLS, I have my patients self-monitor their sleep for a couple nights. I say lay still in bed when you're there and see if you get that uncomfortable sensations with an urge to move. Most with RLS, especially if you've had it for a long time, have had it for years and they reflexively move their legs before the uncomfortable feelings set in. Also pay attention to your mind. Many with fibrom will be able to stay still, but they have racing thoughts, making it hard to relax and fall asleep. These racing thoughts are not to be confused with the manic thoughts of bipolar depression. They may be a sign of ADHD, which occurs more in those with restless leg syndrome, but most with ADHD do not have restless leg. And many patients were unaware of their own RLS symptoms until they were asked to self-monitor. Most RLS patients also have periodic limb movement disorder, referred to as PLMD, a sleep disorder affecting about 4 to 11% of the general population. And people with periodic limb movement disorder experience repetitive jerking, cramping, twitching of their lower limbs during sleep. These are known as periodic limb movements and happen about every 5 to 90 seconds for up to an hour. The movements disrupt the person's sleep, even if they don't wake up, and can cause daytime sleepiness and fatigue. Their bed partner will notice that they move a lot during the night. And at a patient once who I said monitor this, and over the weekend she had realized she had restless leg and periodic limb movement disorder. When she talked to her parents, her dad had the same symptoms. And her dad had always asked, why do the cats pounce on his feet at night, but not on his wife's when lying in bed? And interestingly, a question about sleep and skin conditions, I had a case of a restless leg and a condition called lichen simplex chronicus, which is a severe form of eczema in the lower legs, and was found in a teen, but not until after several dermatologists and primary care doctors failed to recognize the underlying restless leg syndromes contributing to persistent eczema. She was rubbing her legs together at night, making the eczema continue to fester, and then only after her restless leg was treated with gabapentin was a steroid cream able to calm down her eczema. In the past, restless leg syndrome and periodic limb movement disorder in pediatrics have been dismissed as growing pains. Many adults had symptoms of RLS in childhood, and RLS is strongly genetic. If you have a restless leg, pay attention to your children's sleep, as it tends to be about a 50% inheritance. And the first central pain syndrome, what I call the first central pain syndrome, is infantile colic. And 90% of those infants who have colic, one of the parents actually has restless leg syndrome. Exercise can help suppress restless leg syndrome, and I also recommend getting an activity monitor for daytime and nighttime that can be used as a tool to help diagnose and monitor for therapeutic doses of activity to stop their restless leg syndrome. I've had patients with that say, I didn't even, according to my Fitbit, My Apple Watch, I didn't even sleep, but I was in bed for 8 hours. But the Apple Watch said, well, you're moving all the time. And then that was one of the ways we recognized it. Also, it's a tool that I find that one of my patients who had it, we're treating it with gabapentin and had fibromyalgia symptoms as well. She got a job as a nurse's aide in a nursing home and was getting about 18 to 25,000 steps a day by just being on her feet. And it treated her restless leg syndrome, and she didn't need medication anymore. So recognizing, especially in the upper Midwest where the weather's getting cold and being outside in the summer, people generally often get more exercise. And when it gets cold out, hopefully they can try to maintain their steps by walking indoors or wearing warm clothes. Moving on to other medical conditions with fibro, sleep apnea should be screened in all with fibromyalgia. It's characterized by episodes of upper airway obstruction and frequent decreases in arterial oxygen saturation during sleep. It's a public health problem, and it's associated with impairment in the quality of life. Men are more likely to get diagnosed with sleep apnea, while the disease is monitored in men with classic obstructive sleep apnea symptoms, such as snoring, witness apnea, and daytime sleepiness. And women have symptoms like morning headache, fatigue, and insomnia, and exhaustion that may lead to the diagnosis of depression. And there's a quick screening tool called the Stop Bang Questionnaire, and that acronym stands for snoring, tired during the day, observed stoppage of breathing, high blood pressure, BMI over 35, age over 50, bigger neck size over 40 centimeters, and being a man. Treatment with sleep apnea and mandibular devices have been shown to decrease the symptoms of fibromyalgia. And there is also a stimulator that affects the tongue that also can be used if people don't respond. Are you someone who doesn't have sleep apnea or restless leg but can't fall asleep because you can't turn your brain off? A flurry of thoughts goes through your mind. Many of these may be harmful, perhaps unfulfilled goals for the day. You may wake up in the morning and feel overwhelmed, unmotivated, and have catastrophic thoughts about the day. You may have good intentions for the day but struggle to follow through. You may start a project, get off task, and don't complete it. Do you have an internal restless, anxious feeling and have difficulty sitting for long? These are just a few symptoms of ADHD, and ADHD occurs in about 50% of those with fibro, but it's typically overlooked. ADHD impacts fibromyalgia in many ways, but one way is its impact on sleep. Many with RLS also have ADHD, as discussed earlier, but many do not. Their body may be still, but their mind is always racing, and they're thinking about all the things going through the day. And when they were busy during the day, they could distract themselves in one sense, but now they're laying in bed and they have to deal with all their thoughts. And ADHD, if you have it, is one of the most effectively treated psychiatric conditions and can improve fibromyalgia symptoms as well in those with fibro and ADHD. There are screening tools that you can look at, attitudemag.com, the World Health Organization ADHD version 1.1 ADHD tool, and the DIVA 2.0, DIVA 2.0. It's a diagnostic interview for adult ADHD is a tool that helps, and obviously getting evaluated by somebody who works in that, which is kind of like fibromyalgia. It's pretty hard to find people that have a lot of understanding of that condition. Depression and also can play a role in those with fibromyalgia and can impact sleep, and if present, medication can be beneficial. A lot more could be talked just about that, but I don't have enough time. One side note with that is I know many people who have fibromyalgia have been told, oh, you're just depressed. More often that I note is that they are actually more frustrated than depressed. PTSD occurs more often in those with fibromyalgia as well, and there's a lot of overlapping symptoms which make getting good sleep more challenging due to the hypervigilant state of arousal. So when we look at the bed, in the bedroom, there's supposed to be an oasis of restoration, but for many, it's extra challenging. While many with fibro and insomnia have underlying medical problems, maladaptive behaviors also contribute, and that's a funny term that I picked up from Dr. Daniel Clow, who's done a lot of research with fibro. It's maladaptive behaviors are just bad habits that we've just been doing for a long time. What is worse than not being able to fall asleep and lying awake in bed? It's being bored and in pain, tired but unable to sleep. Some will go on electronics to distract themselves from the pain and break up the boredom. However, this short-term benefit can alter the brain's circadian rhythm through the effect of light. Sleep hygiene is essential, and lifestyle medicine, as I talked about, a big part of that, lifestyle changes, and we try to work with therapy instead of using medication. And there's one of the modalities includes a sleep prescription. So here's some general comments to keep in mind when it comes to a good sleep hygiene. Use the bed for sleep and sex only. Establish a regular cycle for bedtime and wake time. People who have fibromyalgia and related problems are very fickle. You don't do well with changes in schedule. I just had a patient, 17-year-old, and I said, all right, we're going to start. He had RLS along with other things and comprehensive approach. But I said, every day I want you to get up at 6 a.m. because he has to get up at 6 a.m. 5 days a week for school. Having these changes in the schedule is not a good. Increase bedtime peripheral cutaneous vasodilation through a bath or shower, socks or heating pad or for cold feet, non-caffeinated tea beverages to help relax. Allow air temperature to gradually warm the extremities. Minimize or eliminate bedroom noise and lights. If you have to take a nap, it's maybe helpful if you do it for less than 20 minutes, but longer naps can make nighttime sleeping harder. Increase daytime exposure to light. Ideally outdoors can also help your sleep hygiene. Increase daytime physical activity, and we can do a whole talk about exercise, but gradually increasing that over time is important. And one of the most effective tools for insomnia. Decrease light at night, so trying to limit light exposure before you're going to bed. Obviously electronic devices. Avoid alcohol within 3 hours of bed. And there's reasons for that, but alcohol can help you fall asleep, but then you have rebound insomnia. It doesn't allow you to get into the restorative sleep. Eliminate after-dinner snacking and avoid high-salt foods, which can affect the blood vessel tone and dilation. And minimize stress by starting to wind down an hour before bedtime and stop working or doing stimulating activities 90 minutes before bedtime. Music with these slower, maybe 60 beats per minute, meditation, guided imagery, and try to mitigate nighttime worrying, planning, and ruminating. So all of these things are complicated by a lot of things that are out of your control. Again, thank you for letting me talk about sleep and fibromyalgia. It is complicated. No two people are the same. And each person with fibromyalgia has unique internal and external challenges. Things that somewhat are in their control, but you can't control how your brain software operating system genetically is wired. You can't pick your own parents, so part of that is internal. And there are external challenges. Some of those you can try to change if there's medical conditions. You can try to hopefully consider in getting those addressed. And I hope this was a useful starting point on your journey to consider as you battle with conquering your fibromyalgia. If you haven't already checked out the podcast, please do. And if you have any questions, comments, or topics that you'd like me to cover, and if you don't get a chance to get your question answered now, email me at drmichaellenz@gmail.com. That's Dr. DOCTOR and then MICHAEL, Lenz, LENZ @gmail.com. I'd love to have your feedback to help. So a lot to cover. I could cover a lot more. I kind of wanted to get as much in and open for any questions that people have.
So hi again, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm so excited to be here with you today. I'm going to be your creative therapy coach. And what creative therapy is just a DIY project that you can do, just something to focus on, to enjoy. It doesn't have to be perfect. It is your product. There's that fibro kicking in, y'all. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's your project to create however you want. So for those of you who do not know, I battle with fibromyalgia as well. I'm a fighter of 14 years, as well as I have connective tissue disease. So I understand what you're going through, and I'm here for you to support you in however I can. I love Team Fibro. I love the fact that we're having this community conference together, and it's just really showing the support. So I'm not going to say anything else, but we're going to go ahead and get started. I hope this kicks off the conference to a great start for you with some fun. So I have already set up here a tray of products prepared for today in case you decide you want to do this later. We have some chalk paint. If you can see that, Melissa, I'm not doing too good, am I? Turn this way. Okay. Waverly's chalk paint. I have some acrylic paint, some glitter, and one of my favorite things to use is Mod Podge. Turn that towards the camera. So the holidays are coming up, and I want to show you guys some really quick things that you can do to be festive for the holidays that don't require a whole lot of work. I already have my glue gun plugged up, and if you're using a glue gun at home, just please be careful because you can burn yourself, although it's super fun to use. It's quick and efficient. So I'm going to show you how to create a centerpiece with this grapevine wreath, one for Thanksgiving and one for Christmas, just as a centerpiece for your table. You can put in your bathroom however you want. So I already have some things prepared and pre-cut to make this video or this session really short so it doesn't take up too much of your time. So these are my pieces, and I'll be working with some sunflowers, pumpkin picks, and these things can be purchased at Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Dollar Tree, whatever you choose. Make sure I stay in view so you guys can see me. So I'm just going to take these picks here and just bend them. Like I said, they've already been pre-cut just for the sake of time. But these crafts, they don't take a whole lot of effort or time, but the purpose of creative therapy is for you to relax and enjoy. So when you're doing this on your own time, don't feel rushed. Take your time and do it to your liking, okay? So now I'm just going to take my glue gun and just start applying these pieces. One tip I would tell you is when you're creating, I like to put my pieces down first and actually check out the placement to see where I like it and what it looks like before I commit to actually gluing it down. Because sometimes I see, I'm like, okay, I like that. And then it's like, nah, I want to change it. So remember that when you're creating, there's no wrong way to do it. It's all about what you like and what you want. Okay? So I'm just sticking these pieces inside here. How many of you craft? Do you craft at home? Do you love DIY projects?
Yeah, let us know if you're crafting. I'm behind the scenes right now. Well, to be honest, like I have my craft and now I'm doing tech support. So I know like Maudie, I sent you some crafts in the mail. Like everybody got their overnight here. And I know Estella and Juana, you have a creative family. So how often do you get creative together, Estella and Juana?
Wow, the last time we created something was the pumpkins. We were painting pumpkins. We're not as good as, with the carving, at least I'm not, but the painting is a lot easier. So we try to create, be creative and actually include all family members and from children to grandparents, because art therapy is a very creative way to release that stress and prevent those flare-ups. So especially for me, so we introduced it at a very young age to my daughter who lives with fibromyalgia. She was diagnosed at the age of 13. So she is very artsy. She likes to draw, and that's how she releases a lot of her stress.
Yes, I love that.
Yes. And Juana, you want to share really quick, like the loom knitting? And this is why we are called Looms for Lupus. We actually incorporate a lot of art therapy in our support groups. So we're excited to see this. Look how beautiful that's coming out.
I know, it's beautiful.
Thank you, guys.
And so, yes, when I was diagnosed with lupus back in 2009, one of the things that I was going through was anxiety. I mean, I didn't know what was going to happen. I was in ICU for 7 days. And when I came out, I was just worried and afraid of what was going to happen the following days. So what I did to start distracting my mind in something other than just thinking about my condition. So I started loom knitting. And what loom knitting is, I bought a looming kit. I don't remember where I saw this looming kit, and I thought it was interesting. I always wanted to learn how to knit, and I never could. I mean, it was just too difficult, not only because of all the pains that I was going through, but it was just, coming up with something knitting, I couldn't do it. So when I saw the loom knitting kit and I saw how easy it looked, so I started just loom knitting, and I did a scarf. And then I started just coming over to we always meet at my mom's house, but I started just bringing my loom knitting kit to my mom's house every weekend. So the kids, my mom, my sisters were looking at me what I was doing, and then my sisters started to all get a loom knitting kit. So we would be loom knitting together. We would do scarves. We did beanies. I did a baby blanket. So there was a few things that I did. And so that was one of my stress relievers. And
I love that.
That's why we came up with Looms for Lupus, Knitting a Community of Hope. Because at the time, we were just needing hope within my family.
Yes.
And we just wanted to extend it all to the community. And so we started and we continue to loom knit or knit a community of hope with all living with lupus, fibromyalgia, and mental health and other overlapping conditions.
I love that. I would love to learn how to do that. That sounds great. I love
Well,
it.
you let us know. We can always do a Zoom or a virtual event where we can show. I mean, it's not difficult, especially for a lot of us who have the arthritis or conditions when we're going through the pains with fibromyalgia. I mean, everything hurts. So there's a way to do it where it's not going to take much on your hands.
Yes.
And so you let us know.
Oh, yeah. I want to do it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, guys. So while she was explaining what she does and how it's therapeutic for her to do crafting, I just finished one.
Wow. That's beautiful.
So it's just a simple grapevine wreath. So I'm going to show you now what you do with it. If you have a candle, you just sit your candle in the middle, and that's your centerpiece. And I'll just spin it around this way so that you can see. And just simple. Or if you don't want to use a candle, you can use, I got a hurricane glass to show that way also. And then you just sit your candle down inside, or your holiday treats or candy, and super easy. And that's just a simple DIY project you can do for the holidays, for Thanksgiving. Now I'm going to show you the Christmas one. As I said, I already pre-did some things, so it wouldn't take up a whole lot of time. But of course, when you do it at home, you take your time and you relax, okay? So this is the Christmas one I already prepared. And I'm just going to add in a couple berries into that. And I'll show you guys this. I found these sacks of goodies at Target. They had these whole bundles here for like $3. And I thought, what a great buy. I'm always looking for crafty things that I could just enhance home decor, because that's just what I love. So I'm just going to take my glue gun and just add those to this really quick and then show you what that looks like. So this wreath is just really pine cones on it, frosted ferns. You know what? I don't want to tell you guys a story, but I call these little berries. They probably have a better name for them. But the holiday berries, that's what I call them. I love them in red. I love them in gold. So when you create your project, you pick whatever colors you like, whatever you want for your home, okay? So I'm just adding those, and then I'm going to add one more. If you do not craft, if you use a glue gun, guys, this, once you glue something, it will come out like spider webs, and it'll be all over your hands. And just pick them off once it cools. Now, don't touch it while it's hot, and then it'll be easy to remove that.
Right?
Yes,
it goes on your skin.
Exactly. Right. Like, oh God, it's fun to play with sometimes, right? But when you look at your project after you're done, you're like, look at all these webs all over the place. Make your project look old. Like, I just finished that. Okay, so I just added those berries in, and then I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. And I want to add one more. And like I said, again, when you're creating, there's no right or wrong way to do it. You do it to your liking. As long as you're happy, then you're doing it right. Okay. So I just added another piece. So how are you guys doing? How's your day going?
It's going great. Look at that pop of color.
Beautiful.
Red,
So
yeah.
I just added that, and voila. And again, like we did with the Thanksgiving one, we're just going to add our hurricane to the center. Let me pull back some so you can see. Easy holiday centerpiece.
That is gorgeous.
And I love candles, y'all. I don't know if y'all crazy about candles like me, but I have them everywhere over the house. So just seeing it lit up, it just takes it to a whole nother level.
And the smells.
Oh yes, the smells. Speaking of smells, Kina's Creation, she has these beautiful candles, and she's a fibromyalgia warrior as well, and I support her business. Her candles are amazing, y'all. So you'll have to check that out. I love it. Okay. So now I'm going to move that out the way. Then I'll go to our next project. I already pre-did it, so it wouldn't take a whole lot of time. Do y'all have any questions or anything? I want to make sure I'm not moving too fast.
No, I love that you showed two different types, like one for, the fall, for if you celebrate, Halloween or not, like incorporating these little pumpkins way for the fall decor, but also the Christmas decor, because some people go straight into Christmas. So I love that you did that.
Thank you. I love all holidays. So I'm constantly switching my stuff out.
And it's definitely relaxing just to see you do it. I am not very crafty, but there's things that I do, and just because I'm focused, I'm not thinking about anything else. And sometimes I even forget about the little paints. I call them little paints, but we all know that they're no little paints.
Yes.
Your mind is focused on what you're doing. So a lot of the times it does help a lot, not only with mental health, but also with the paints, because though you're doing it careful, you're doing it slow, but you're focusing on what you want to do.
Exactly. And not on the pain. Like, I forget all about my pain. Like, what pain? What fog? I don't have to focus on anything but my project. I don't have to follow instructions. I can do it my way. So it's really my happy place when I can create.
And your kids participate too, right, Nikki?
Oh my God, yes. My little one wanted to come in here with me today. He was like, Mom, can I paint with you? I said, maybe next time. But I'm a mom of 3 boys. So my kids are very hands-on with me, and I teach them how to create. And I guess this just comes with them naturally. I guess me being their mom, but I enjoy it. It's therapeutic for me as well as for them, seeing them smile, and then something that they can do with me that's not going to hurt me, So it really is a family affair. So y'all make sure you bring your kids along, nieces, nephews, even get husband or boyfriend involved. Husband, see, there's another fog. Husband involved.
I thought that's how you call them.
Hey, that sounds good, doesn't it?
I wanted to share. I have been doing scrapbooking. I see the comments coming in, and scrapbooking is amazing. And I've taught my daughter scrapbooking since she was young, and she's
great.
And it was perfect when she was in 8th grade. or eighth grade, they went to Washington, and their project was to scrapbook their trip.
Oh, wow.
You know, my daughter got an A.
Oh, yes.
Because she was so used to scrapbooking already.
Right.
And so they had to take pictures of all their locations. This is an amazing what's it called, project for kids, and they had to take pictures of all their locations and then write a little bit of each location, what they learned, and then each teacher, history teacher, math teacher, all the different teachers, science teachers, had a look at their at my daughter's work, and that's how they were graded.
Oh, wow.
So then she was thinking, okay, how can I incorporate math in there, science in there, spelling, it was amazing. And going back to crafts, I got this at the dollar store.
Oh, I love it.
Painted, and then it also has the the pretend candle in there, so they can turn it on and you see it.
Oh my God. I love that.
If you can see up, I have my friends, and my daughter did one and I did one. And if you go to, and it was orange, and we just painted my whole support group painted them purple. And then we just shared our pumpkins. And if you look at Lupus Society of Illinois, the support groups.
Oh, I love it.
Holding my pumpkin.
Yes. Oh, I love. Thank you so much for sharing that, Mata. I love that.
Yeah. And then we make spoons, purple spoons also.
Yes.
With the and in Spanish it's iman. English it's magnet. Your magnet, and it's a purple spoon, and then
I love how you say it.
Yeah. And the ribbon. So next week I am sharing it with the Mata sisters and with Melissa in Philadelphia.
Oh, I love it. I'm so happy to hear that y'all are crafting and being creative. Sure. Like I love that. That makes me so happy.
For sure.
Good job, guys. So now another quick one for Thanksgiving. We're just going to do some stackable pumpkins, right? I made one of these to go on my kitchen counter, and I just absolutely love it. So I'm going to show you one really quick, and then we're going to finish out with a cute little snowflake. And I'll go ahead and show you the snowflakes, what they look like. But I found this pack at the Dollar Tree just to make Christmas ornaments. And I'll show you two different ways that you can do it to represent fibro, of course, and then our traditional Christmas white snowflake, this bling bling. So I'm excited about that. So with this pumpkin, I have 3 different sizes so we can stack them, guys. So I'll just start off with my glue gun. We're going to put a good bit of glue there. I'm going to stack our next pumpkin on top. And guys, if you do not find the pumpkins already decorated, feel free to decorate them yourself, paint them, bling them out, put glitter on them, whatever you want to do. And so with the chalk paint, you just go through and you're just going to paint it whatever color you want to your liking. I even thought about a purple pumpkin, and I thought that was great you did that. Mata, that was great.
Yeah, everyone in my support group made one, and they shared it with us.
Oh, I love that. So when you're painting, if you do not know or if you do not paint regularly, the key to painting is just try to keep your brush strokes even, go in the same directions, watch out for lumps, and just make everything even and smooth. So
I'll share something that we did in our support group.
Okay.
And again, I mean, art or any craft that you make, it's unique. It's you. I mean, so this is one of the things that we did when we were going in, when we were having our in-person support groups. So everyone.
Oh, wow. That is a beautiful, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, purple is my favorite color, and I just love butterflies too. So it's like perfect. Even if it didn't have to do with fibromyalgia, right? Or lupus. I love it.
So we got to do this beautiful butterfly. And again, I mean, everyone got so creative and everyone had their unique butterfly. There was one person that painted the different colors, but yet it was still beautiful and we all had so much fun. And not only were children doing the painting, we had my mom, we had, all of us, we were all doing it. And it was just amazing how art therapy can help not only with what you're going through with the mental health, but also it helps you release all that stress and it helps you focus. So definitely, art therapy is something that we love to do and we love to incorporate when we have our support groups. We've also done the painting virtually for our support groups. So that's something that we feel strongly from the beginning since 2011 that art therapy helps.
Yes.
And we love to do Looms for Lupus.
Yes, I love that. So guys, another project finished.
Wow.
So our stacked pumpkin is done. And I just added a tag on there that says give thanks. Simple, easy. There goes those spider webs again from the hot glue gun. But just really simple and cute, guys. And that took me like no time. Of course, I showed where you can paint your pumpkin first. And for the sake of time, I already had one pre-done. So super easy and cool. And I just love how it looks. I can't wait to add that to my decor. And then the last one, which was the wooden snowflake I was telling you about, painting it, just starting off with some chalk paint, of course. Y'all, I feel like I'm making a mess here. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to move quickly for the sake of time and give you guys some creative ideas that you can do at home. And of course, take these ideas and run with it. Add your own thing to it. So I want to show you a little trick really quick. I know you can buy the chalk paints and they come in like several different colors, but sometimes it's not always financially easy or affordable to purchase a whole craft collection. So what I like to do is just buy these regular acrylic paints, they usually come like $1, no more than $2 for those bottles, and purchase ivory or white chalk paint and just mix the acrylic into the chalk paint to create whatever color you want, which right now I'm just mixing that purple with some white and just creating a lavender. I don't know if you can see that or not.
And that's a great way to teach your kids how colors change.
Exactly, right?
I was a substitute teacher for 8 years, so anything that you can teach your kids how to do at home, and it's fun.
Exactly, I agree. So once I mix it, I'm just gonna brush over that.
I'm very bad with arts and crafts like this, but
really?
I do, because I'm like a perfectionist. So, but I do Photoshop on the computer, and I like make T-shirts. Like I can do that. And so when I'm spending time on the computer doing Photoshop, I just forget about everything. But anything with my hands doing painting, I'm like a perfectionist, and I just take the tool.
Oh gosh, but that sounds like that's your outlet, though.
Yes.
When and that's okay. Everybody has their thing that takes their attention. They're passionate about.
Yeah, and I like the T-shirt you have on. Like I would love to make a T-shirt like that. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
When I designed this T-shirt, it really came out of just a passion of mine, and just it says Fibromyalgia Warrior, the hidden story within. Like that's what I feel like fibromyalgia is. Like you look at me and you think, oh, she's fine, and it's like, no, there's a hidden story here. that you have no idea about. So that's why I created this t-shirt, and I'm so passionate about it. But guys, thank you. So there's the snowflake. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So again, for the sake of time, I already have one ready for you guys. So here it is. This is the purple one, and I added some glitter to that to blink it out. Yes. And then I added the piece of ribbon, and then on the other side I did a white one, and I just added some rhinestones.
Oh, but
and then yes, so then you're ready for the holidays. Really simple, a great activity to do with your kids and your family. Everybody could create their own snowflake and then gather around the tree if that's what you do. And just simple. I hope you guys enjoyed those and gave you some ideas.